Hey guys, Coupons Provide here, and today I'm coming at you with a fun Happy Planner mini planner tutorial. The fun part about this one is that I will be combining two of my favorite crafty things, which is number one, junk journals, and number two, the Happy Planner mini planner. I absolutely love both of these systems, so I wanted to go ahead and combine the two for you guys. Now, my main focus in this tutorial is going to be creating a full setup for your mini Happy Planner. Now, I did create the cover for this one as well, so if you want me to create that cover in another video, go ahead and let me know down below in the comments and I will do that for you. But taking a look at the setup, you can see that I am using the Happy Planner mini planner inserts because in my mini planner, what I like to do is plan ahead bit by bit whenever I need to, but as the weeks go by, I like to go back and coordinate my planner and kind of jot down all of my journaling from my social media posts. That way I can get a little more detailed in the journaling part of it than I did on the initial post to my social medias and track those memories for myself throughout the year. I do love the little chunkiness of the whole look, so if you are like me and you want to combine your two favorite things, stick around and let's get into it. So first I'm going to set up my workspace by putting my work mat down because I will be making a little bit of a mess. And I'm going to take the Botanical Bliss Hot Buy paper pad and select 4 base sheets. These 4 sheets are going to be the images that we want as our base for each one of our folders or inserts. Then I'm going to select 1 sheet of embellishments. This is the sheet that has your cards and whatnots on it that you can cut out and use to embellish your inserts. You're going to want to go ahead and select one of your favorite prints for your cover sheet. My cover sheet of my planner setup is always functional and decorative. Of course, as always, we're going to use basic supplies such as a ruler and a blade. Your blade, you want to make sure it's sharp by taking a piece of Scotch tape, wrapping it on the blade, and breaking it at the crease. We're going to hold our ruler even with our cover sheet that you have either used before and you know the measurement works, or the cover that comes with the planner. It's basically going to be the guide for the rest of the inserts. Once we cut our sheet long ways, we're going to go ahead and fold it so that the same print is the front cover and the back cover. This is going to allow us to have a pocket on this cover sheet. I am using a ruler because I want to make sure that I have a nice straight fold line so my creases aren't all sloppy. Once we have gotten the correct fold size, then we're going to trim off the extra paper. Do not toss this because these will actually become functional pieces further in the project. Now you can see that we actually have a front and back cover of the same print. Now you can either use a corner rounder punch, but I like to use the rounder that comes on my punch board because I like the sizing. So I'm going to go ahead and round out all the corners. After that, I'm going to go ahead and take this and hole punch it. I'm going to be using the Happy Planner hole punch, but I definitely have a lot of tutorials showing you guys how to create these punches with a simple dollar store punch and a pair of scissors. So feel free to check out that playlist under my Happy Planner playlist. So next we are going to adhere this pocket shut. Now I'm going to add glue using a simple glue stick to the side punch holes. And I'm going to take some double-sided tape, which is the basic brand tape, BAZIC, and I'm going to cut a strip to put down at the bottom so that nothing falls out and it creates a pocket form. Making sure to push and remove any excess glue on the hole punch area, we're going to seal our pocket. And then I'm going to prep my work mat for inking by taking some clear shelf liner and just putting it onto the surface. This is going to allow me to take my ink blender and go over the edges without working that ink into the mat because it's kind of hard to clean these mats. I am taking my Target Dollar Spot DIY dowel blender that I created for you guys actually in a very quick tutorial in a haul that I posted not too long ago. And I'm going to take the Spellbinders Lavender ink. Now the ink doesn't really matter. I was going to use the Ranger Jelly ink, but I had just used this previously, so I know it was a color that I wanted. And I'm going to take the Colorworks Gold pigment ink and use it to blend over and lighten up that lavender. All it's going to do is mute it a little bit so it's not such a strong purple color, because I'm not a big purple fan, but this color just seems to work very nicely together. I was totally feeling it. Next, I'm going to take a brown ink pad, which is from the Ranger brand, and I'm going to add some brown darker edges to close up the entire ink look that I want. Now we can go ahead and begin putting our embellishment piece for our cover sheet. I'm going to take the gorgeous green leaf image that is already pretty much framed out for you, and I'm just going to cut it out. And then I'm going to repeat the same process of inking in the same exact order, and you're going to see this a lot throughout the video. So further ahead, I will give you a lot more pricing information once we start repeating steps and I don't need to go over them so much. Once again, once we have applied our Spellbinder's lavender color or purple color, we're going to go ahead and mute it a little bit using the gold. Then we're going to make those lines around the edges more solid by using the brown ink pad. Next part is totally optional, but I took a rectangular sticker and my typecast typewriter and typed "Coupon to Provide" on the sticker. I'm just using this to label my planner inserts. You could definitely use a pen and just write your name on it. We're going to create a pocket form on the back of this paper by taking some double-sided tape and applying it around the edges of the bottom, left, and right side, and this will give us a pocket form to slip something small into. Next, play with the placement and find your perfect position for your mini pocket. Then I'm going to take that embellishment sheet and cut out one of the small tags that were on it. It's a part of the junk journal process. It's basically creating little nooks and crannies to put many little secret treasures. Next, we're going to go ahead and use our cover page as a cut guide for the rest of the tutorial. Doing the exact same thing as the first cover, we are folding it in half so that we have a front and back side to this insert. We are also going to be creating or recreating the pocket form that we did in the first cover. Remember, when you cut off the excess paper, do not toss it because it will become functional in the future in the tutorial. We're going to round all of our corners and make sure we have a nice clean edge. Don't forget to punch your holes so that when you ink it, you can catch all that ink on the holes. We are going to do the same step in creating the pocket by taking your glue and running it over the punched holes. You're also going to take some double-sided tape and apply it to the bottom. Again, when you fold it over, you want to make sure that your holes match perfectly and your edges are nice and clean. Also, rub off any excess glue so you get really nice adhered sides to the paper. We are going to repeat our inking steps by taking first layer of purple, muting it a little with the gold, and then adding the final edge with the brown. Of course, you can use whatever colors you like. Now, some pricing information on these inks. They retail for about $5 for each style or each brand of ink, but I actually picked mine up at Tuesday Morning for $1.99. I have a full affordable craft supply hauls playlist, so feel free to check that playlist out as well. I try to keep my videos categorized so that whenever you want some information or you want to watch videos for inspiration, you can feel free to check out those playlists. Now, the DIY blender that I use for the lavender was actually a stamp dowel that recently Target Dollar Spot put out with a Santa Claus stamp. I removed the stamp and used dollar store adhesive shelf slider pads that you can find at Dollar Tree in a huge pack, and I use those for a lot of DIY blenders. My American Crafts Pink Matte that is self-healing was actually from Tuesday Morning as well for $14.99. Now we're going to move on into creating the pocket form. What we're going to do is select two images that we can use for a tuck pocket on both sides. So we're going to clean up the edges of those images. Now one of them actually has a printed piece of tape So what I'm going to do is cut the straight line along the frame and rip where the edge of the tape is to keep that nice natural image flowing. Then I'm going to go ahead and create wave cuts around the sides of the other piece, and we're going to begin inking. Again, it's very repetitive, but one thing I did like about this one was the paper had a crease, so I wanted to match that crease and fold just a little bit on one of the other sides and let the ink ride into that crease because it just made it for a nice embellishment. After we're done inking, we're going to go ahead and again create pocket forms by using the double-sided tape and placing them on the paper where we would like to have tuck spots. Now in a bit, of course, I will put some paper or things into these pockets and show you how they actually work. But for now, we're going to jump into our dashboard. And if you're new to the channel, welcome, but you don't know that I actually am a firm believer in having a closed dashboard. I created this a long time ago because I really don't like my sticky notes and page flags and little items that I use for this setup to get damaged with use. When you pull it in and out of your bag or your purse or whatever, those pieces shift around and they get damaged and then it just looks sloppy. So I created the closed dashboard. What you're going to do is take 2 sheets of paper and of course using your front cover as a guide, you're going to pretty much repeat the same process. The only thing is that when you are folding over 2 sheets, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to shifting. You want to get your edges as clean as possible. So this requires checking as you are doing your folds and your creases and whatnots. Remember again, do not throw away any paper that you cut off. So now that we have our pieces very nicely cut and lined up, we're going to go ahead and round our corners. You can go back and round your inside corners later. Then you're going to punch your holes. Again, make sure that your papers are nice and even. Everything needs to be even because this is going to be a very thick piece and it will mess up your rings or sit ugly on your rings if you do not make sure all your pieces are aligned. So we're going to take our 2 sheets and glue them together where the holes are punched. And again, repeating the same process, pushing them nicely together, making sure there's no excess glue and all that good stuff. And then we're going to kind of fold it back and forth and see how the paper shifts. As we begin adhering it all together with our glue stick, we're going to lift and adjust and just make sure that everything comes together very nicely because you'll see if you adhere it flat, it shifts and so on. So just make sure you're paying attention to all of that and arranging it and readjusting it before you finalize your piece. Once we have done that, then we're going to go ahead and begin creating the look so that it coordinates with everything else. After you punch your holes, you're going to go ahead and begin inking. We're going to do the same 3 color system, and then I'm going to take some plastic pocket pouches that are self-adhesive that I got from the Target dollar spot in a pack of 20 for $3 and add them into our dashboard. Now this does fit the mini happy planner, so it's really great to know that you could fit up to 4 of those square pockets into your dashboard and have 4 different sets of something in your dashboard that you could use on the regular. Now that we've created most of our inserts, we can go ahead and begin using our scrap pieces to embellish those inserts. What I'm going to do is take one of my scrap pieces and create a large pocket. I want this one to be 2-layered because I'm going to have a pocket and a tuck spot on the same page. I'm going to take a strip of the scrap paper and round the edges, and I'm going to take a leftover strip of the floral paper, and that's going to be my tuck spot. Of course, I'm going to punch and align my holes. Now, I did think at first that I didn't care where the green pocket sat. That's why I didn't pay attention to the hole punching, but I didn't like it after I did it, so I repunched it so that I could get the pocket in the center. It just looked a lot better that way. So now that we have our holes punched for those pieces, we're going to repeat the same steps and begin inking our sheets. The larger one again is going to be a full-size pocket, and the smaller strip is going to be a tuck pocket, which is basically where you can tuck papers and keep them in a specific place without having them in a full-size pocket. Now there's actually a logic behind creating so many different pieces on the dashboard cover. Since your dashboard is where you're going to be storing your sticky notes and page flags, you actually will open and close the front cover a lot more often than you would do any other part of the inserts. So you want to make sure that you kind of layer thick paper on the hole punch areas so that it is stronger and will hold together better through the usage. It's basic everyday wear and tear, but you're just giving it more of a chance to not rip itself apart because you have multiple adhered layers that will be more secure in your planner. And for those of you that know me and know that I'm a little bit more slowed down and soft tone in this video, it's just because I have a little bit of a throat and congestion issue going on. Nothing severe or serious. I just really am trying to be clear spoken and not have like this weird frog in my throat sound when I'm explaining these things to you guys. So I have to kind of tone it down a little bit, slow it down, but I'm really hoping that I'm getting the inspiration across to you guys either way. I'm still totally excited about this layout, and I really want you guys to be excited about it as well because it really is a combination of two things that I really love, and I want you to enjoy it as well. Okay, so now you can see that we took another piece of the long strip scrap paper that we cut off previously and rounded the corners, punched the holes, and now we're inking. This is going to become an actual tuck spot for the other side of the dashboard cover. So we're actually going to have a total of 3 different spaces that we can utilize on the covers of our dashboard, which you'll see in just a second. And the steps pretty much have repeated themselves. You pick your piece, you add your texture, your ink, whatever. You make sure to clean up your edges, round your corners if you're going for the rounded look, and you adhere everything very nicely and line everything up very nicely. So of course, paying attention to the details, it's going to take you a little bit longer, but you definitely can junk it up as much as you want. You can give it whatever look you want. And as you clean things up while you go, it's okay to fix mistakes. It is perfectly fine. Plus, I think it just adds to the character of the overall look. So as you can see, opening the dashboard, I punched my holes and now I am inking. Since the dashboard is one full piece and I want it to look like one full piece, I'm not going to take that ink all the way down the center of the page. I want it to stay open. I don't want it divided into 2 pages, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to do the same process, and then I'm going to take my Target Dollar Spot plastic adhesive pockets and add those to the inside. Now I actually like to turn my pockets sideways. It's just more likely that if you put your planner in your bag or something like that and it's upside down or right side up, things aren't going to fall out of place because it's facing the left or the right instead of up or down. So now we're going to go ahead and begin embellishing our front cover. On the back side, I'm going to take a piece of scratch paper and I'm going to tear it. I like to do this because it creates a really cute slide in and out pocket to hold papers in place. I love that it's completely perfectly imperfect. It's one of my favorite things. And we're going to do exactly what we did with everything else and begin inking it up. These are 3 slits that you can play with and put papers into and just hold them in a place. It's not an actual closed pocket. That's why I think it adds a lot of fun, a lot of texture. You can add your paper clips here. It's just really cute. So once we do that and get our colors completely put on there how we want them, we're going to play with the placement. And once we play with the placement, we can see how we would adhere the pieces down. Of course, anything that needs to be hole punched will have adhesive glue on one side and tape on the other. And then whatever isn't on hole punch section will have just the double-sided tape on the left and right side. Alright, so now that we have all the pieces adhered, you can see pretty much what I was going for. And this is actually the back cover of the front cover. It's a totally functional piece and I absolutely love it. Now moving on, we're going to create the back cover of the entire planner. Of course you have to have a back cover because it's just necessary. We have a front cover and a back cover to close everything up. So what I'm going to do is take two pieces of the scratch paper and I'm going to glue them together. I like to rip it because for some reason I feel like it just adds fun, texture, a natural element look as though two pieces are coming together. And I'm going to go ahead and dirty up the tear spaces because I don't want it just to look like torn paper. I want it to look a little dirty, a little distressed, or whatever. Now I'm not going to ink this one up on the tear spot as much as I did everything else because I don't want it to be as clear. So I'm just going to take the residue that's left on one of the blenders and rub it on there. Once that's done and we have the look we're kind of going for, we're going to go ahead and take our front cover and use it as our guide as we've done through the entire video. And we're going to fold it over. This is going to give us a front and a back print. We're going to trim the paper down per usual as we've done also throughout the whole video. And then we're going to pretty much finish up the piece by cutting it to size, rounding the corners, inking and making everything coordinate, and punching our holes, and then we will have our back cover. And that is pretty much it for this, guys. Now, I have been playing with this look since back in October, and I have to say that it is something that I really really love because you can experiment with so many different types of textures and looks and whatnots. So just to show you a little bit of how it looks when you add pieces to your junk journal style planner inserts, it is adorable. It's very vintage looking, it looks distressed, it's very pretty but junky at the same time. It's something that I just can't get enough of, to where I feel like I could just make them and hold on to them and look at them because I absolutely love the way it comes out. So as you can see, there's so many nooks and crannies to hide so many things in. Now one thing we're going to do, and you don't have to do this, but I like to do this because I found and hauled and shared with you guys the Plain Jane stained glass gloss. So the really awesome thing about this is that it adds a really cool natural element to the hole punched areas. Now when I did it with the fall theme, there was a lot of oranges and browns, and I used the orange gloss, and guys, or glaze, excuse me. Guys, it gave an awesome, almost like a burnt wood look to the planner page. I just couldn't get enough of it. So in this one, I'm using a pink glaze, and the great thing about it is it's actually going to add a lot of durability to those edges. That way, when you're pulling it in and out of your planner rings, it doesn't tear up so easily, which is just awesome to me. All you do is apply it and let it dry. I put washi down so I can get a straight line, and then I'll just peel it up once it dries. It's really an awesome product. Again, I did haul it for you guys, showed you how it worked a little bit. I shared it with you on Instagram. So follow me in all those different places, or keep an eye out for little things like that that I like to add to my videos when I'm doing hauls. So once that is done, all you're going to do is remove your tape, and you can begin putting everything in its place. Now the one thing is, if you happen to come across a spot where you make a little tear or something, just go over it, either stick it back down with some glue or go over it again with the ink. It really doesn't matter. It's a junk journal style, so little tears or little things here and there do not matter. It just adds to the character of the overall look. Now as we begin adding the pieces into our planner, you will see that it adds such a fun, textured, vintagey element to this journal. Now, or to this planner, sorry. Now the cover I actually made. I didn't do a video on that, but if you are interested in seeing something like that, let me know. I used the hubby's old jeans and a Dollar Tree calendar to create this style. So if you're interested, again, put it in the comments and I'll definitely try to get that worked on if you want to see, because I've done a denim planner cover before, so it might be something along the same lines. That being said, you can see all of our pieces come together, and I did actually add a journaling section using some tea and coffee stained paper by cutting it up and punching it, and I love it. So guys, I really do hope that you got some inspiration to combine two of our favorite things, or my favorite things anyway, and create a really cool, vintagey, awesome look to your planner, and probably inspire some new life into your planning. If you did enjoy this type of video, go ahead and give me a big thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it because you guys determine the growth of this community. Go ahead and share this video if you found it interesting and you think maybe someone else will find it interesting. Follow my social medias on Instagram and my Facebook group at Coupons Provide. And don't forget, guys, keep couponing. Bye!